Hey everyone, it's Keela here, and today I'm sharing a layout and a process video for day 27 of my A Scraplift a Day series here on YouTube. Today's Scraplift is in the top right hand corner, and I've also linked that in the description below in case you'd like to take a closer look yourself and maybe have a go with today's Scraplift. You know, I really love this design. I've been quite excited to work on this one this month. I've decided though to go for a more masculine take on the lift. And I think this design is actually really easy to switch it up to less of a pretty girly page and more of a cool masculine boy page. So I pulled out the what's this collection called? Bro and Co by Simple Stories. And so far what I've done, I've picked out a border which I'd already cut out, I think, for a previous layout and I hadn't used. And I've cut down some pattern paper to use for a tag. Now the pattern paper that I've gone for my tag has some word phrases on, and I loved how in the original layout there was it looks like stamped phrases onto a white tag. So I thought these wordy bits will kind of take the place of those stamped phrases. And I noticed as well that behind the tag it looks like there was a strip of pattern paper. Now I didn't have a strip that was wide enough to leave a slight border either side of my tag, so I cut off two strips of this grey pattern paper to tuck behind my tag to give the illusion that there's a full paper strip behind my tag. Now I'm kind of just like laying the page out. I've pulled in a few embellishments that I quite like. I'm going for mainly the blacks and the greys, and keeping it quite monochromatic in that sense. And the reason I decided to go for this is because my photos, my son TJ is wearing a bright red football shirt. Now the red in this collection is more along the lines of a burgundy red. So I felt like it clashed a little bit. They didn't work together. So I decided to kind of not add any colour and just go with the black, the grey and the white, so that my son's shirt really pops. It's kind of like then it's the only bold colour on this page, because the photos that I'm scrapping are of my son TJ and our dog Spud. We was out on a walk, I think, last year. We did lots of walking together with the dog, and I was forever taking photos because it was a great way for us to get outside every day during the first lockdown. And my dog, he's like brindle black and white, and TJ has, I think, black trousers on and a grey hoodie. So like I said, the only bright colour on this page is that red shirt. But I really do think, because I've kept the page very light and only using the blacks and the greys, it really draws your eye to the photographs. I'm distressing the edges of my tag, ready to attach my little paper strips. I have distressed the edges, I think, of my white cardstock as well. I like to do this just to add some texture to a page so everything doesn't feel flat. I do like to pop things up on foam to add dimension throughout the layout. But obviously I think we all find it as scrapbookers, using a lot of foam in our scrapbooks really bulks out our albums, and the less foam that we use means the more pages that we can fit into our albums. So I do try to stick to only really layering up one layer of foam. I try not to go any higher than this. So by distressing my edges, it just gives the illusion that there's more dimension there than there is. So I'm sticking down my little paper strips and I'm just distressing those as well. And it definitely looks like there's a full piece of pattern paper behind the tag, even though obviously we know there isn't. And I really like how it brings some of that grey into the layout as well, and not just around the outside of the page. I'm just snipping the edges, and then I distress those again because I cut them slightly longer than what I needed. I'm going to stick the tag down straight. In the original, it was at a slight angle, but I want to angle my photos instead. I did have a little play beforehand with the photos. In fact, I think I filmed my little play at the beginning, and I did angle my photos. And I think it's because I'm using two, and even though the photos are slightly different, at first glance, you'd probably think they were the same photograph. But TJ is smiling slightly differently on one, and Spud is looking at the camera on one and looking away on the other. And there's no reason really why I've scrapped both of them. I mean, I could have just gone for the one where Spud was looking at the camera, TJ was smiling, but I quite liked how you could kind of tell that we were trying to make Spud look at the look at the camera. And they say, don't they, never work with animals and children, and obviously, you know, as scrapbookers, I think lots of us do that every day just to try and get those nice photographs. But I do like how this kind of shows the reality of me trying to get those photos, because a lot of my family members say to me as well that I'm so good at like capturing, you know, those right moments where they're looking at the camera and they're smiling, and you know, I can sometimes quickly snap a photo of the dog and he's looking right at the camera, looking all cute. And my mum doesn't like understand how I get these shots, and I had to explain to her that if you looked at my camera roll whilst I was trying to take photographs, there's probably like 500 pictures of the same thing. And it's because I do, which I'm sure a lot of us do, I click and click and click and click, and then I go through them all and just pick out the photos that I think, oh, they're perfect. Where obviously back when I was young and my mum had to, my mum was taking photos of me and my sisters as children, obviously it was all on film. So, you'd take your photo and you wouldn't know what you'd got until you got them developed. And obviously that's when a lot of the photographs, you'd get somebody's foot, or you've cut somebody's head off when taking the photo and things like that, where obviously today and the cameras and things that we have and having them readily available on our phones, we can kind of pick and choose and keep taking photos until we get that right photograph. So I've stuck now my embellishments down. I've stuck down a star, which I did trim the edges of that because it was slightly wonky, and I think I've mentioned in other videos how when the border around stickers and die cuts isn't straight or whatever, it kind of really annoys me, so I've got to snip it until it's more to my liking. I've also added a die cut to the side of the first photograph, and I've added another die cut piece underneath the photo, and it was one that I'd already used on a previous page, but I'd cut it in half, so I had half of it left, and I'm going to use this as like a little resting spot for my title. I'd gone to peel off one of those little lines next to the word cool, and the top of it came off, leaving just the foam, so I had to use my glue and just like stick it back on, and it turns out fine. Once the glue had dried, it was completely fine, and you wouldn't be able to tell that it had come off beforehand. I have added a little tab at the top of the second photo, and I cut down a die cut piece that said my bros, and I changed it just to say bros, and it's because we have a little thing in my house that Spud and TJ are brothers, because TJ's got a sister and he always wanted a brother. So Spud is his brother, and they've grown up together since TJ was 4 months old when we got Spud. So they're best friends, they really are, and the relationship is so lovely, and I do feel like I've documented their relationship over the years in my scrapbooking. I've still got lots of photos of when they were babies, both of them, that I need to scrap as well. They've always, wherever TJ is, Spud's always right there with him. So my layout is now more or less finished. I'm just adding a few little bits, which I do off camera. I thought I'd click to film again and I hadn't, so I do apologise for that. But I do add some, I think I use embroidery thread instead of twine because I wanted it in black. and I do add some splatters in black acrylic paint as well. So here is my finished page. Please do check out Xochitl and Rebecca's Scraplift today. The links to their Instagram are in the description below. And if you do join in with us, please do tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see what you've been creating. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.